Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 1871 podcast. And yes, it's official. Reading have been relegated to League One after Huddersfield's 1-0 win against Sheffield United tonight. And that means that Reading will be playing in the third tier next season for the first time in 21 years since that famous Jamie Curriton equaliser at Brentford that secured automatic promotion. So, Johnny, just want to start by asking you, as a Reading fan, for many, many years, how are you feeling tonight?
Man, depressed, mate. I mean, what do you want to say? Like, seriously, it's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible feeling, but the club have brought it on themselves. Um, I remember when we went down to League One, we lost at Forest away back in '98, and then the last game at Norwich at home at Elm Park before we went to the Majeski. Yeah, and it's just a deflating, horrible experience. The younger fans have never had that. But I'd never thought, 25 years later, we'd be doing the same again. The owners are to blame. The managers we've had for the last 10 years are to blame to a point. Um, Players that we've had, the recruitment. Where do we start about the whole sad decline of Reading Football Club in 10 years? It's disgusting. It's vile. Fans aren't to blame, but the fans will cop it. That's the horrible part of where we're at with this club. We'll go down to League One. The fans will still support the team. Will the owners? Mark Bowen talks a good game. It's a job for him. He's not a fan. If he was a
Yeah.
fan of the club, it would be a different feeling. So I'm hurting. You're hurting, as many other people are tonight. We keep hoping game by game would get a bit of luck. And every game it didn't happen. And the 6 point deduction, if it didn't happen, we'd still be up. Bad mismanagement by the club again. We could go on about it forever. It's just horrible.
Johnny, I wanted to ask you, can you pinpoint what has gone wrong for Reading this season, or is this season a culmination of the last few seasons? And you hinted at it earlier there, bad mismanagement from the top. Is that why you think this has happened?
Well, watching Paul Ince get a bottle of red wine from Man United's manager tonight and laughing about it didn't really help, to be honest. That kind of rubs it in. That was just like, oh, you've got no respect for the club, and you're there. Like he's not helped for the last 18 months. Yeah, we talked about his whole the embargo thing, blah 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 blah. But he's been probably one of the worst managers we've had in a long time. But it's worse than him. It's going back to the promotion season to the Premier League and Russian owner coming in with Majeski, and then things changed, and we've had, in my memory, two fairly decent seasons. The first one under Adkins, when we missed out on the playoffs, the Burnley. I think on the last day we drew 2-2. The result, we literally thought we were in the playoffs and everyone run the pitch, and we didn't get there. That was embarrassing. And then obviously the Amsterdam season where we got to the playoff final. Um, that was it, and the rest of it has been absolutely mediocre and horrible, with a lot of players who played for the club and earned a lot of money, and we never really progressed. There was never any plan. There's never any sort of future planning of what we're doing. It was just like, let's hope for the best. 3 or 4 owners in that time.
Yeah.
It's vile.
And pivotal moments this season, because it's a reasonable start, and obviously, when Valko Paunovic was the manager, it was a great start to that season. Then eventually finished seventh, just outside the playoffs. But what do you think was the pivotal moment this season, apart from obviously the 6 point deduction? Was it, what was it, that red card for Andy Carroll? Did that kind of seal Reading's fate, do you think, or can we not really look at that?
No, it sealed it, but it was done before that. I think anyone knows that, and from what I hear about Mark Bowen, he wanted Ince gone in February, and I think any fan would have agreed with it. It was, we could all see it coming, and like, our form has been absolutely woeful for months, apart from the Blackpool win against a poor team. the rest of it has been absolutely dire. I'm not going to hang any players out to dry. Ince done that every game. Noel Hunt came in and tried to give it a bit of a bounce factor and did some positivity, which he did. But then, you're limited with what the players you've got. Under the embargo, I sound like Paul Ince now. It's, the points deduction, blah, blah, blah. He did his best as he could. I'm not going to have a go at Noel Hunt because he tried.
Yeah, it was a sinking ship by then, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And
Yeah.
and every other team, Warner again, Mr. Marmite, you love him or hate him, but what he's done is he's kept Huddersfield up. So, and then he's going to rub the salt in the wounds on Monday,
Yeah.
which is pretty hard to swallow for Reading fans. But what happens if football goes around, comes around, and it's hard. But it's not. Neil Warnock didn't make this problem. Reading's ownership, backroom staff, whatever, over the last number of years have allowed this to happen.
And
And
you,
the EFL.
yeah, and you see what Neil Warnock's done at Huddersfield. There has been a bit of a transformation there, and he's got that reputation, hasn't he? Do you think it was? Do you think it was too late to sack Paul Ince, or do you think the chances are that even if it had been done sooner, we would have gone down anyway? Because presumably, if Paul Ince had been sacked earlier, whether it's February, March, whatever, Noel Hunt would have come in. Would we? Are the chances that we would have gone down anyway? Do you think?
Well, you give a manager a chance, and from what I gather, honestly, that Bowen wanted Ince gone, but the owner was too loyal because he's given Ince a chance, and Ince is there laughing tonight at a Man United game. He's not a fan of the club. Noel Hunt is. Hunty done what he could with what he's given him 6 games, whatever it was. That's it's horribly depressing to watch, to see. I haven't got words for that. The club's been a mess for years. It's been a mess for so long. This is just the final nail in the coffin of mismanagement, misownership, EFL doing what they do. You can point the fingers at players, but that's not me. It's what it is. We're down,
Yeah.
and we are a sinking ship at the minute. And we're not
Johnny,
going to just.
Can I ask you? Is it disbelief? Is it shock? Was it inevitable? What are you feeling? Because we're doing this. We started recording straight after the final whistle, literally. Do you have a sense of shock? Do you have a sense of disbelief, despair? What is it that you're feeling?
I could round up everything. Like it's everything. It's not a shock because it was coming to us eventually. And you keep hoping you're dodging the bullets, as we've done for probably 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Despite the all the embargo and everything else, but the AFL have got what they want now. We're down like Derby were last season. They can go, yep, we punish the bad teams and we do what we want. There's a few more teams up there in the Championship that hopefully get their comeuppance. For doing the same. Big Ron is at West Brom now. Everyone's spending stupid money. Notts Forest are doing it in the Premier League. Chelsea do it in the Premier League. Do they get punished? No, we do. It's not bitterness. It's just a fact. It's just that football is stupid. Football is just the most ridiculous.
It does seem like, yes, Reading are in a mess, but football, the wider game is in a bit of a mess at the moment as well, isn't it? I think
a total mess. Total mess. But we're on a scapegoat, don't they?
Well, I mean, who knows? Who knows what goes on? But Johnny, I just want to ask you another question. You mentioned about relegation previously, and I mentioned very early on about that Jamie Curitan goal. Some of the best moments that we've had as Reading fans going back, because obviously it's 21 years in the top 2 divisions, 3 seasons in the Premier League, the rest of the time in the the second tier, the Championship. Obviously, some of our greatest moments as Reading fans going back before then have been that Jamie Curitan goal. And that kind of, if you think back to then, we'd never been in the Premier League at that point, and we got some momentum after that. So is it kind of we have a reset in the summer, and then who knows how long it's going to be. But is it now a chance to kind of start again, or are you genuinely concerned about the short, medium, and maybe even the long-term future for the club?
It can go either way. Like when I don't, folks that watch us and listen to us, I remember when we went relegated down to League One at the new ground, which is typical Reading. It took us 3 or 4 years to have a competitive team to get to. We lost the playoff final to Walsall in 2000. We got promoted the year after, but for 2 or 3 years there, Tommy Burns, bless him, brilliant coach, managers, all the guys you've had on here. Until Pards came in, we started to build a momentum in 2000. But for 2 years we were ropeable. I mean, it could happen again. No one can sit here and go, it won't happen. No one, we sit here and go, already won't get relegated. It's happened.
Mm.
So we're in that same position again. But it's like we don't run the club. I wish we actually could. We get Dylan Kerr on board. We might have a chance of running the team and doing well. But Bowen and all the guys behind the scenes, go and prove to us. Action speaks louder than words. Make a difference. We're relegated. You're in charge. Do something. The owners are doing what they're doing, and it's whatever way you look at it, it's not impressive. And like the players will come and go. Any football club has that. Or the lone players will go back. Show us a reset that actually means something. Show us some future plan that goes right. This is what we're aiming for. I'm still not convinced. I'm not convinced about the owners. I hear what they say. I hear what Bowen says, but he's an employee of the club.
Yeah, and let's talk about what last season's relegated clubs are doing, because that might be, it's kind of doom and gloom, and it's official now. We have been relegated, but we look at last season's relegated clubs, so Peterborough, Derby, and Barnsley. Obviously, Derby had that massive points deduction, didn't they? But you look at all three of those clubs have done well this season. So Barnsley already confirmed in the playoffs, and they'll finish in fourth place, and they'll be joined in the playoffs by either Derby or Peterborough. Derby are currently 2 points ahead of Peterborough going into the last game of the season on Monday. And look, we've got a couple of local derbies to look forward to. I know it's not really time to look forward to anything really at the moment, but next season there are 4 local derbies against Wickham and Oxford, obviously home and away, 4 games. And just to run through some of Reading's opponents next season, they include Portsmouth, Charlton, Lincoln, Shrewsbury, Fleetwood, Burton Albion, Exeter, Bristol Rovers, Cheltenham, and Port Vale. So those are the sort of teams that we'd be playing next season. Some long trips there, obviously Exeter and the likes of Fleetwood.
The only good thing for me, Mark, is I think I would actually do some different walks for mental health awareness. That's the only good side of us going down, to be honest.
Yeah, and look, Bristol Rovers and Cheltenham, they're not local derbies, but they're not too far away. MK Dons, we don't know for sure if they're staying up yet. But look, just quickly, Johnny, talking about Monday's game, Huddersfield against Reading. Andy Carroll's back from suspension. Do we care what happens now? Is it about pride? What do you think?
I don't really care. I don't, like people are going, probably they're selling their tickets for free on eBay. Yeah. I don't know. I like,
or ripping them up
for Noel Hunt as a manager, show some pride.
Give the young ones a run out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's all the loan players going back to the clubs. They're not going to come back to Reading League One. Let's be honest. So play the guys that want to be there next season. We haven't got much of a choice.
Yeah.
Off the contracted players. If Andy Carroll stays in League One, brilliant. I don't know if he will.
I can't see it.
No, neither can I. Jeff Hendrick.
And is Andy Carroll, someone that we want to keep now?
If he wants to stay,
complete reset, don't we?
Yeah, but like he's contracted. Naby Sarr's contracted. Yeah. Tom Holmes is contracted. McIntyre's contracted.
So you would want to keep all of those players, including Andy Carroll, yeah?
It's again, it's like beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
What do you have to, like if they want to stay, who wants to come to a relegated club in League One with our embargoes and all the stuff that we've had, and who knows what the EFL is going to have lined up for us over the summer? It's all I want, and all I've ever want, and you want, and anyone that ever watches Reading play is people that want to play for the team. I
Yeah.
don't care how good they are or whatever. The guys that have played this season, Jeff Hendrick has his, people that doubt him. He's put his shift in. Whether he's the best player in the world or not, it's irrelevant. Baba Rahman, again, it's because we had no other choice to get him in. Junior Hollett, again, is a guy I'd if he wants to play for us next season. But why would you want to play for Reading League One? Beggars can't be choosers. Beggars haven't been choosers for the last 3 seasons because of all the.
Maybe Johnny, that'll be a good thing. Players that want to leave will leave, and then we'll be left. Yes, with we're left with what we're left with.
But we had that last season, Mark.
But like you said, we want players. Like I think McIntyre, for example, Holmes. I think they're 2 players that you would pick out that want to play for Reading and want to do well for Reading. Would you go along with that?
Possibly, but then agent talks again. You know how it works. And last season we had Laron, Rinomota, the same. Are you Reading through and through when somebody offers you more money? That's the way football works. I don't really care about the players, and it's about somebody come out and give us a plan. Somebody comes out.
But Johnny, what I would say is every fan of any club loves a player that's come up through the ranks. So maybe there's something with Noel Hunt where he could kind of, accelerate some of the younger players coming through, possibly. What do you think?
I know Hunt's a great coach of youngsters, but I'm not going to say Noel's the coach for next season because the owners, to be honest, they could bring me or you up and ask us to coach the team next season. Their ideas are so random. I don't know. There's no planning. There hasn't been planning for years. And as I go back to what Mark Bowen was saying, to the fans the other week, they talk about what they're going to do. Fine, talk about it. But we're in a mess. The club's in a mess. It's been a mess for years. If the players want to stay, fine. But who wants to stay in League One? If you could play in the Championship, earn more money, it's a job. Me and you've been working in our jobs in different worlds. If somebody's going to pay you more money, will you stay there, despite you were born and played for Reading? That's the reality of. We've now gone another level down from the Championship to League One.
Let me ask you about the manager, John. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something else there?
No.
Okay. So let me ask you. Firstly, what type of manager do you think Reading need to take the club forward? And is Noel Hunt a possible answer, or do we get someone else in? And if so, what type of manager?
I honestly don't know, Mark, and I don't like it. It's not. Noel Hunt is a decent guy who did a good enough job in the circumstances he did. I wouldn't knock him. Paul Ince has got a lot of questions to answer for, but it's because the owners allowed him to do what he did for so long, despite the points embargo and blah blah blah. We go around in circles and talk about it. We talk about Dylan is a positive manager. He does what he does. Not saying because it sounds a bit cheesy. Me and you singing his praises all the time, but why not? Or a manager like Dylan Kerr, a manager like Noel Hunt, or having a setup where everyone knows what they're doing. I don't hear anything about what Michael Gilks does anymore. I don't hear anything about what Michael Ledgerwood does anymore. They're Reading legends. So it's all gone quiet, and I'm like going, talk.
What's going on?
The biggest problem is Reading FC, the communication. I'm on the Supporters Trust as a board member. I still don't get communication. We don't get to know. Last night was a classic example of we had the Players Awards at the ground with the select invite. paying stupid amounts of money to decide the players of the season, and that really kind of sums up this season. I probably get hung out with
That's
this.
kind of pointless, isn't it? Because if you do it
Yeah,
that way, people are going to not just some people are going to boycott that out to make a point, as a protest. But some people are going to think, well, want to spend my money on something else.
well, yeah, like the money
So then,
talks.
so then
Money
what's
talks.
so
A
then
minute.
what's the point of doing it? Because it's not.
It's like it's not
If it's a fans vote, it should be a fans vote.
which it always was on the last day of the season.
Yeah,
You
and it's
know,
not. So it's not. It's not really a legitimate vote if you're not letting the fans vote.
no, it's not. It's not like there has been so much. That's just another stupid public
Yeah.
exercise of how things have been done wrong. So how many more stupid things do the club want to do to hang them? It's horrible. It's like
Can I? Yeah, Johnny. Can I just ask you? So two names that have come up, and we don't know how much is in this. I mean, Carl Robinson was mentioned, and now he's gone to Leeds as assistant manager. Um, there with Sam Allardyce. So he's obviously not coming to Reading. The one that was a favourite for a while, and we don't know whether how they make up these odds even, or whether they've even spoken to Reading. Someone that we've had on as a guest who said he'll come back and talk about how this process works is David Artell, the former Crew manager, took Crew up. He's on the list at one. I don't know what the odds are now, but he was one of many potential future Reading managers on the list at 33-1. I don't even know yet. I know David. I don't even know yet whether he's had any contact with Reading. I can ask him. But the two names, so John O'Shea seemed to be the favourite for a week. And now the new favourite supposedly is Richie Wellens, who's, had won League Two twice with two different clubs, Swindon, and just won the title with Leyton Orient. Phil Parkinson's got a mention, obviously, but would Phil Parkinson
no,
want
wouldn't
to
touch
leave
this.
Wrexham? I don't think so.
No, well, he wouldn't want to touch
Would,
us with the barge pole. For the sake,
would Richie Wellens, having just won the title
no,
with Leyton Orient, seriously want to come to Reading?
no, he'd want to touch Reading.
Do you think John O'Shea is a possibility?
No, John O'Shea is not. I don't think so because he's under 21s here in Ireland. He's doing what he does. I don't see why would you want to go to a struggling club like Reading in League One? What's that as a promotion when you're doing a great job?
So why are these? Why is Richie
Agent
Wellens
talk.
and John O'Shea
Well,
among favourites?
who was there at the game on Saturday? Oh, Kia Javachon, whatever his name is again, who's been constantly denying contact. We've been told that he's not involved. He's just a friend of the owners. Toxic. I'll sit it here and say it. It's what it is. It's like Star have said it. It's like, well, he's there.
So basically, you reckon that it might end up being yet another Kia Gora?
Well, if it is, they're absolutely stupid. Like if you want to go to play the lottery of the managers that we've had for the last 8 years, since McDermott left, Adkins came in, was probably the first. Then Yapstan came in out of the blue. All the rest has been a gamble. It's been, Paunovic. How many managers that we've had did you go? Yeah, Steve Clark, okay, but a lot of them are just like Jose Gomez. It's been. Paul Ince probably summed up
Paul
the whole
Ince
way
sums
of
it up, doesn't it?
8 years without management.
And he came into Reading as an experienced manager, but
Where at Lidl's or Aldi? I don't know which one.
Yeah. What success has he? What was the reason he was brought in?
Because he's the governor and he knows what he's talking about and blah blah blah.
Great player, but
yeah,
8 years out of the game. And what success did he have as a manager? Why
nothing?
Why would Reading go for someone like that? And I think that's just indicative.
It's just gambling
problems over the last few years.
Yeah, it's just hoping for the best. It's like any clubs that are doing this now. They just throw a name out there. Oh, we'll try him. And like the owners, they may have a lot of money, but common sense wise in football, they haven't got a clue. I hope Mike Bowen changes it, and I hope all the backroom staff are changing it. And, we've got Brian Carey. yeah, I'm going, okay, well, right, but we've got relegated. You
Johnny,
had a chance.
yeah, sorry, what were we going to say?
There was apparently Ince could have gone in February, but the owner says stick with him. So, like, well, the owner's got the money. So, even then, with his advice from the people that are football people, he's stuck with someone that's clearly not doing the job well. And now we're now relegated. So, like, do the owners still know what they're doing? Look at Chelsea. If you want to go, what is an owner doing? Yep, throw money at it. And Chelsea are now a worse team in how many years of,
Close to relegation, aren't they? Then top.
yeah, for like 400 and how much million they've spent. You know, it's
Yeah.
football's a stupid, ludicrous game, but
Let
I
me
don't give a monkeys about the other teams. It's our
yeah.
team. It's Reading.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. I said earlier that the three teams that went down from the Championship last season, have had good seasons. So at least, well, one of them might get promoted. At least, so two of them will be in the playoffs, and the other that went down will just miss out. So does that give Reading hope because those three teams that got relegated have done well this season, or is Reading a different kettle of fish? And you go, actually, we've got to be concerned about the short term future, and we might not. We might not be having a good season next season either. Is that a concern? Is that a genuine concern?
Well, everything's a genuine concern for me, Mark, because I don't know what the owners think. I still, like they've invested how much money in the club, and we're further away now
Yeah,
to getting to the Premier League than we were when they started. So
yeah.
they can. People say they won't pull the plug, and all the talk is about we're building and it's a stepping stone. I'm like, it's not your club. It's the fans' club. It's Reading FC. It's the people that support the club.
Mm.
It's horrible. It's a horrible situation to be in. I don't. It's like having Rodney and Del Boy fucking running in Reading FC. To be honest, at the minute, it's like it's clueless. I'm still waiting for change. They had a chance to change in February. Apparently, again, I'm only from here, so they didn't. We are now relegated. From Freckenham High Street, you've now gone down to I don't know where else in London you can go that's selling cheaper shit on from a suitcase, but it's pretty much that's what
Well,
it feels like.
Well, look, you know that I like to put my positive spin on things, and we don't know what's going to happen in the summer. We
Ah,
can only keep our fingers crossed and hope. Um, at least, yeah, I'm not even going to say it's relief. Um, that,
it's reality, isn't it?
but at least, yeah, it's reality. At least we know now. So I don't know. Would it have been worse to go to Huddersfield and for Neil Warnock to send us down?
Oh, he still gloat about it and rub it in, and
Yeah,
we
but
get
but
what we deserve.
but listen, on trying to find some positives from somewhere, green shoots for the future or whatever. Let's hope that, regardless of what happens in the summer, that we've got an opportunity somehow to look forward, not necessarily to another Jamie Curitan at Brentford moment, but we're let's hope that this is the lowest that we're going to go, and it doesn't get any worse, and then we've got stuff to look forward to. So, look, we've got some local derbies. We've got two proper local
Yeah, but
derbies.
how much are they going to love that now? Reading
Yeah,
have been lauding
yeah.
it over them.
But don't forget some of our best moments, and you and I are talking as Reading fans going back to, Division 3, Division 4 days.
Mm.
Some of our best moments have come following relegation. So, you go back to that relegation that you mentioned, and then Reading make progress. That Jamie Curitan goal, and then what happened next, and going up to the Premier League. Um, that,
Yeah, but I
that
think
that happened after a relegation. Don't
yeah,
forget,
I
and
know, Mark. But I think
took
when
a
when we
while. It took a
watched
while, but
Reading, it was more patient.
yeah,
We were allowed to build in
yeah,
those days. Now it's like they want instant. The owners want instant.
It's different, isn't it?
It
It's
is,
different.
don't you think, Mark? I'm not being, I'm not cutting you off, but like in those days, it was like, okay, we could build because the money wasn't involved.
Well, you had local owners. Roger Smith
Yeah,
used to play for Reading.
yeah,
Just
and then
talking
you
about.
have,
We're not talking about a manager who used to
yeah,
play for Reading. We're talking about the owner, the chairman,
yeah, yeah,
and
and you
so
could build, and
John
people believed
Medeski.
in them.
Yeah, so John Medeski, is a Reading man. He really cared about the club, and he did things the right way, built
Yeah,
on solid foundation.
yeah, and you could believe in what he was doing. He got
Yeah,
okay,
and there,
managers got sacked, but then you had guys come in, but it was all done at a certain level where you went, it's still very grounded.
because I go back to something I've said on previous episodes that the owner that we've got now, and this is a fact, the
Hasn't got
owner
a
that we've
clue.
got now bought Reading because Reading was available.
Yeah,
So I can't believe for 1 minute that his first choice was Reading. The reason he bought Reading was because Reading was available
yeah,
for,
absolutely. Yeah, it's a toy.
and it's different. So that makes it different. So Roger Smith, former Reading
Yeah,
player, saved the club of all those other people involved.
because he cared.
Yeah. So John Medeski cared, a local man, did things in the, and not just because he was a local man, he did things in the right way, built on solid foundations. This is your budget.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's why we got players like Kevin
yeah,
Dorling,
yeah.
because you have to,
Do your hard work.
yeah, and it wasn't, I'm sure Sir John Medeski would have made sure that we're not having any points deductions because we stick. That's the problem. They kind of
He
push
had
them up
he was a
to.
businessman,
Oh,
wasn't he? He was
yeah,
a local businessman. He knew what he was doing. I know it's a different money world that we had back then, but he wouldn't let the club fall under. These,
yeah.
like you said, like I think the guys that run us now, I think they were trying to buy Hull previously. I think there was a couple of the clubs, and they didn't get the approval, but then the EFL approved them for us. I could be wrong. No one wants to shout me down, but it's like it's horrible money.
So are you worried? Are you worried for
Yeah,
the
of course
what
I am.
comes?
And like everyone else can go, why are you worried? Like if those owners pull out, like you wake up one day, Mark, and you go, I don't want to do this anymore. I wake up one day and go, I don't want to do this anymore. They wake up and go, I don't want to do Reading anymore. Who knows what's in their heads? We don't have regular contact with them as owners. They don't talk to us regularly. Getting information out of the club, apart from Bowen and whatever else, is hard, and it has been for a long time. And that's when we're a championship club. Now you're a League One club. Are they going to go, I want a new play toy to play with. I want to go and buy something else. If you've got that amount of money to play with, will they go, bordering?
Well, we'll
It's not. It's like you say, like with John Majewski, Smee. They cared about the club because it was meant something to them. Did the owners? Does it mean something to them, or is it just talk?
Well, let's see what happens in the summer. Plenty more to talk about, and look, we should be having Simon Church back on. He was on in Series 1. We should be having him back on tomorrow. So that's a plan. So we'll ask Simon Church for his opinions and talk to him about what he's doing now. So that is, I think that's about 99% confirmed that Simon Church will be our guest tomorrow. And that episode will be available from 6 p.m. tomorrow. And our guests coming up include Adam Lafondra, and that episode will be available from 10 a.m. on Monday. And we're also hoping to confirm Linvoy Primus. Thank you to Johnny for that one. And Phil Parkinson as upcoming guests. And who knows, maybe we'll get Michael Gilks one day as well. He said yes, but
A big shout out to Brian McDermott for his new job.
yeah, congratulations to Brian. Is it director of football at Hibs?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Sporting
Yeah,
director or director of football, one of the two.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
congratulations. Yeah, massive congratulations to Brian. Reading could have probably found some role for him, but he's gone to
There
him.
we go.
Yeah, congratulations. So look, Johnny, we've talked plenty for tonight. We could go on and on and on.
Yeah, yeah. We'll still
But
be relegated.
yeah, but we would still be relegated. We'd still be playing in League One next season, unless the EFL have got other ideas. Let's see.
Nah.
But yeah, one more game to go away to Huddersfield. Um, I asked you if you cared, and you said no. I think you probably do a little
Of
bit.
course I care, mate. It's
I don't
it's
want to
it's
go there
like
and
I just
lose
thought
the
all the
last game.
fans will go. The fans will go and watch the game. It's horrible. It's a horrible
Yeah,
situation. You just
there
hope you
won't
can
be
get
many
there.
though. There'll be less, won't there? Now going.
Well, if anyone fancies a day trip to Huddersfield, I'm sure there'll be tickets available. But like everyone will go and sing the hearts out for the lads because that's what the
Is there
fans do.
another reason to go to Huddersfield though if you don't go to the football?
Set fire to Neil Warnock's car. I don't know. What do you do?
Don't
Like
know.
I don't know. Like what do you do? Like the fans, are the ones that are punished. Mark. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
Like
agree with that. Agree with
it's
that.
horrible. It's a horrible situation. But what can you do?
All right.
We go again.
Well, let's leave it there, Johnny, until the next time. As I say, we're 99% certain that Simon Church is our guest tomorrow, and that episode will be available from 6 p.m. tomorrow, as in Friday. So, Reading are relegated. Thanks for your time, Johnny.
No
Uh,
worries.
the doom and gloom has been realised. We will be playing in League One next season.